All right. Hello. My name is Michael Sulzen, and this is my egg drop capstone project. So yeah, this is a picture of me holding the final structure that I ended up building. So first, just a little background on the project. So this project's designed to test like basic knowledge of engineering skills by building a structure that's going to catch a falling egg from 6 feet. So a few specifications: the structure can't break. It has to repeatedly catch the egg at least 5 times when dropped from 6 feet, and the structure has to use as few materials or be as light as possible. So these are my two initial designs. So you can see a few different sketches that I did. So the first design, I went for a square design. I wasn't really sure if a square or a triangular design was going to be stronger, but I ended up testing the second one just because it was a little bit lighter, or I had estimated that it was going to be a little bit lighter than the first design. And so that's why I went with the second design. Um, so you can see I wasn't able to snap a picture of it before I made modifications to it. So that's just a screenshot from one of my videos. But yeah, the design wasn't really reliable. It wasn't structurally sound at all, and the egg kept bouncing out of the structure. That was the main problem that I was running into. But also, it definitely needed some added structural support. So this is what it looked like after I did those modifications. So you can see that I added these legs, like 3 additional legs in the middle, in hopes that it would give it a little bit more support. And then I also added this whole basket on the top. So you can see already it's deviated pretty far from the original sketches. But yeah, with the additional support and all the added straws and tape is estimated to be 62.1 micronewtons. And so yeah, this is the first successful 6-foot drop that I was able to do. The issues that I ran into with this design were that it wasn't really deforming in the way that I had planned or expected. As you can see from the video, it kind of, all of the weight and the force is applied to like one side of the structure, which is not what I was going for. I was hoping it would be spread evenly between the legs, but this is what ended up happening. So I had to take notes, but I did really like the basket that I made on the top. It was able to, as you can see, even though the egg, like even though the whole structure is like tilting on its side, the egg remained in there. So yeah, that was my first successful drop. Ended up going with a different design, but I did take notes from this one because I learned a lot from this. So this is my redesign. I went for a square design, and each leg of the base is a full straw, 7.75 inches, and then it was going to be 5 inches tall, or as close to that as I could get. And so the basket, you can see, I ended up not using the square design for the base of the basket, just because I realized it might not be the strongest thing to catch the egg. But everything else I did use from this design. So it's estimated to use about 16 straws, 25 inches of tape. So it's heavier than all the previous designs, but hopefully more structurally sound. After like building it initially and just kind of like pushing on it with my hand, it did feel a lot more sound. So that's what it looked like. As you can see here, there's no square base. I ended up just connecting all of these points from the basket together. I was hoping that it would be able to somewhat slow the fall of the egg as it fell towards the center of that. So yeah, the estimated weight for this build was 82.2 micronewtons, so a little bit heavier. And then as you can see, I ended up, I think on the previous slide. So I had written that the egg was repeatedly bouncing out of the structure. So that was definitely a problem. It was was like coming down, bouncing out, and then falling out and cracking, which is not what I was going for. So I added these two support beams on the top. This was actually my roommate's idea, so I have to give him credit for that. But yeah, this is what the final structure looked like, and with an estimated weight of 87.9 89.7 micronewtons with the added straws on the tape. And this is what it looks like in action. I was pretty happy with this design, as you can see, compared to, let's see if I can go back. Well, this one was like deforming a lot and not in the way that I had anticipated. This new design was working a lot better. You can see really the only main deformation that's happening is kind of on this leg here as the egg hits it. And I also, for this design, I ended up making a bigger basket to catch the egg because it was really hard to get it to fall in the center, especially dropping it from 6 feet. So yeah, all the structural improvements were a success, and this one ended up working pretty well. So yeah, that was my final design. The egg was able to withstand 5 drops. It was not damaged, and the structure remained intact. So it may have been possible to use a little bit less resources, but I felt pretty good about this design. I didn't feel like I used too many extra straws or tape, and I felt pretty happy with it overall. And that is everything. Thanks for your time, and as you can see, I'll be making omelets later with all the leftover eggs.